Hey everyone, and welcome to IG8Live Esports. This evening, once again, we're live right now with PGL F1 Sunday Division for round 11 of 23, and it's for the Belgium Grand Prix. We're getting started right now with our full qualifying session. We're into Q1. 18 minutes already started on that clock, and we're going to have some drivers start to head out on track in just a bit. I think we should have a full grid, but currently we have 17 drivers on the grid here for Q1, so let's see how that's about to go. So welcome to everyone who is currently joining on to the stream here this evening. Thank you guys for joining on. Remember to leave a like on the stream. Don't forget to do that. And remember, if you're new on the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't done that already, just make sure you guys do that. But do leave a like on the stream. Really appreciate the support from you guys. And welcome once again to the stream. So let's see how these guys are about to get on with this qualifying session here right now. I think King Corb is already out on track here in the Renault, getting started on his out lap here. Now remember guys, it is a bit of a longer lap around the track here. Some different elevation changes as we get around Spa as well. So going to be very interesting to see how the guys handle the laps along with the rest of the qualifying and how they get on with that race session as well. Some portions of this track are a little bit difficult to deal with in terms of trying to get overtakes done as well. So we'll see how everyone does handle that as we get on through the session. But so far, 17 drivers in, not too bad of a number to work with for the full qualifying session. Hopefully we can have 3 more drivers join us before we get on to the race session itself. We'll see how that goes, but we're going to work with the 17 we have here right now, and yeah, let's see how that's going to go on through with qualifying 1 here as we have it right now. Already down to just about 16 minutes to about 15 seconds in left in the qualifying 1 already. We're going to have some laps started here pretty soon. They're going to have to get a move on with this one because remember, it's a pretty long lap around here. I think about a minute 40 something seconds or so probably, or a minute 30 something seconds. I kind of forget where it's at. We'll see as our first lap will come in pretty soon, but we still have King Corp here, first car out on track, but he's still on his out lap. He will be getting started with his hot lap pretty soon. We're going to have a look on board with him as he gets on through his first hot lap here at Spa for the Belgium Grand Prix. We'll see how that's going to go for him as he's about to get around the final turn here right now. We're going to get on board with him as he get on move with that, and he's about to get started here right now. So he goes down the pit straight. As you can see, it's not a very long run, getting down into turn 1, a very sharp right-hander going around here, and then pretty basic straight getting through to the next turn here. Of course, going a bit downhill, then going a bit uphill, so always a bit interesting to see how drivers get on through that. You can see how much of an elevation change that was as he gets up there, and very difficult to get through that section of the track as well, sometimes without avoiding spinning around your car. So drivers do have to tend to be careful. A very long DRS straight here getting through to the next turn, a very good overtaking opportunity as well, and some cars do tend to go wide and have to use a bit of a runoff area here sometimes, depending on how the battle is going on track with them as they get on through. You can see some more elevation changes as we go downhill here right now as you get around this turn and continue to just go a bit down, and you can see the way the track is as we're on board with King Corb as he goes around through this lap. The elevation changes does continue to go skyrocketing a bit downwards as we continue on here. It just show quite well on how that is. Now we kind of settle off onto a flat portion of the track, getting around in sector 2, about to come to the end of sector 2, getting into sector 3 here as well. So seems to be running a pretty good lap here so far as he gets around. And we can have a look at the a bit of the trees around the track, and we can see how the landscape does actually change quite a bit in terms of that as well. He's about to finish off sector 3 here right now, and let's see what sort of lap time we're about to see. I did not put lap data on, so we're not able to see what we're at here. So it's going to be probably a 142 getting around the track. So it was a 142.380. Not a bad lap at all for him so far. So let's keep an eye on the rest of the grid as they're getting on through. Who is going to be our next driver? I think it's a Racing Point. Trying to have a look if that's Butler there. Looks like he's going to be the next driver to give us a lap time here, and let's see where he goes across the line and what he is going to get. Gets second fastest in the session, 143.8 so far. I got a McLaren, probably short markers getting across. Yep, it goes to 143.1. And Neil now goes 144.7. Vans Racing goes 145 so far. So who is the next driver to come across the line there? And we do have DT Bevs about to go across the line here in the Williams, and he goes second fastest, now 143.078. A pretty interesting lap time there. Of course, everyone most likely will be running on the soft tires in this session here. Let's have a look at that as we're on here right now. So yep, everyone's going to be doing the soft tires on this session just to get the best possible time in. Let's see who else we currently have running here right now. So currently we got Safdar, we got Nick there. We got Mikey as well on track, as well as Codfish here. I think Mikey's a bit out in front. Where is Safdar right now? He's invalidated his current lap that he's running on, so he's not going to be finishing that lap. We got Nick here in the racing point. He's trying to finish off a lap here right now, running there in sector 2. Does have Mikey and I think probably Codfish coming just behind of him. So we're going to keep an eye on those two as well as they get around the track here right now. So still here in Q1, 12 minutes left in this session. Has been going quite interesting so far with lap times. Mostly 142s, 143s. We got a 144 and 145 as well. They're going to try and improve that time. Going now to another session. That is a racing point into the barrier to the side. Not out of the session, but still might have taken some damage there and ruined that lap there. So we're going with Mikey here right now in the Mercedes and looking at him trying to finish off this current lap that he's running here. So let's have a look and see where he's going to go on the grid as he finishes off sector 3. So we know Nick is going to have to try and get another lap going. Probably going to get into the pits and then try to get another lap going there. I should think he's getting started on another lap right now. And that is Mikey going second fastest in the session so far. Who was next to come around? I think that was Codfish going across the line. Goes 145.9 as it is there right now. Let's have a look where Safdar is on track. Invalidated this lap once again. So not going too well out there for him right now. Got Mr. Rage on an out lap here at the moment, running through sector 1. So let's run through our grid order as we have it so far in terms of qualifying lap times here for Q1. So we got King Corp there with a 142.3. That's the fastest lap in this session so far. Mikey there second, 142.8, about 5/10 off that time. DT Bevs about 143, about 2/10 off of Mikey there in P3. Short Marcus there, P4, 143.1, a 10th off. Another 7/10 behind. We do have Butler in P5, 143.8. And then we got Neil there in 6th, 144.7. Vans Racing down to 7th, 145. Then Codfish in 8th, 145.9. Nick there did a 154.1, not a good lap at all. He's going to have to try and get a better lap in. And Clarky in the session here, in down there in P16. He's trying to get a lap in here in the McLaren right now. Let's see how that's going for him. Okay, he's running there in sector 2 right now. Let's see what his sector times are going to be as he gets around here at the moment. So still about half of the grid yet to set a lap time in. We're still going to have to wait a bit for that. And that's an invalidated lap there for Clarky. He's going to have to try that once again. Let's go back up here. Now let's have a look at Mehdi has actually invalidated his lap as well. So for our driver, we're going to have to try again with that one there. As is Savdar here. Going to have to try once again. Already invalidated that lap. So not going too well out there. Mr. Rage on another out lap here. So let's see how his current lap is going to go when he does get started on it. So he gets started on a hot lap there right now. Getting back on that power as soon as he can to go on through this lap. Let's see how his sector times are going to look like as he gets on through as well. So far so good in the qualifying session. Not too bad with the lap times. I think we're going to get a bit more competitive further on into the session. We still got about 8.5 minutes left here in qualifying 1. So I think it's a good amount of time enough for these guys to work with for the rest of the grid and try to get some times in. And the top half of the grid will try to improve their time as much as they can. Not sure if this track is a favorite for most of our drivers. It's a pretty long lap, as you said, around here. So, and with a lot of elevation changes that we do have, they're going to have to be a bit careful as well, getting on through with it. does take quite a while to get around if you do invalidate a lap here, or you have to get back into the pits. And I can see Scooby there, probably stuck on track somewhere. I'm not sure what's happened to him there in sector 1. I think he's gotten back going again. So we got a purple sector 2 off of Mr. Rate so far on this lap here. Let's see how his sector 3 time is going to look as he finishes that off. So we got a few more drivers getting on out laps there at the moment, and hopefully are able to get a lap in before this session comes to an end and probably make it over into qualifying 2. Alright, so we got Mr. Rage going across the line right now and goes second fastest in the session at 142.6, about 3/10 off of King Curb's time, so really not too bad at all with the lap time that he has there so far. I think we got Jay Kelly getting started on the lap here right now in sector 1. His teammate in the next Renault, that's King Curb, they're holding on the fastest lap in this session so far as it is. Oh, and loses it a bit. And we'll have to try that lap again. That's going to be a bad lap for him there. As I said, it is very difficult getting through that section of the track without losing the rear end. You do have to take a very interesting line getting through there, as I've learned in the past. And we're going to see how drivers handle it throughout the race as well. We got quite a few drivers on their out laps right now. Let's see how that's going to work out for them. Going down here, the Butler, I think, is on a lap as well, about to finish that off. Let's have a look at him. If he's able to get a better time than a 143.8, which he currently has, and goes 143.856, so not faster than what he did over 143.804. He went about 500 of a second slower there. He might be trying for another lap here. I'm not sure. Van's racing up to speed 7 here with a 144.6 so far as it is. Neil on another out lap there as well. Gonna go back down at the bottom of the grid down to Vintage here. He's getting started on a hot lap here right now, so let's have a look and see how this lap is going to go for him. As you can see, he took a much better line through La Rozier and getting a better exit. That'll save you some time as well as you get on through with that. So let's see where the AlphaToyo driver is going to put this car by the end of this lap. So King Curb still holding on to fastest lap in this session. That is a purple sector 1 from Vintage there so far. So he's looking pretty good at trying to get onto fastest lap for this session. We got 5.5 minutes left here in qualifying 1 right now, and still about half of the grid yet to make their lap times. Then Mr. A just retired off of the session. I think he's quite happy with that time that he did there, 142.6. No point really trying to fight it off in the session too much. Probably had enough practice on this track, so doesn't want to just waste time around it. I was really hoping that at 142.6 is going to hold it off for him to get over into qualifying 2. Which he probably should, because I think our 142s are going to be fastest in the session. We'll be lucky to see a 141, I think, here. We'll see how that goes by the time we get to qualifying 3, of course. So we got quite a few drivers right now on their hot laps down in the back of the grid. We're going to see what those lap times are going to look like as they get on through with the session and as they finish up this lap here. We got just about 4.5 minutes left right now in this qualifying 1 session. Time is going pretty quickly from the drivers. They have to get a move on and try to get that time in as fast as they can. Once again, guys, welcome to all of you who are currently joining onto the stream with us. So welcome to join on, and thank you guys for joining. So make sure you guys leave a like though on the stream. Please remember, if you're new in the channel, if you haven't done so already, make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and we do appreciate the support that you guys put on through that, especially leaving a like on the stream. It does help us out a lot. Alright, so we got Vintage with a 143.8 so far here. Let's see who else currently is about to finish off a lap. I think Beefy is on a lap. He just did a purple sector 1 there as well in the Red Bull. Jay Kelly did a 2 minute around the track, not the best lap possible there right now. Clarky now goes fastest in the session at 142.140, getting very close into the 141s. King Kirk now down to second, as the rest of the grid is pushed down by a position. Mr. H down to third right now. Nick is up to fourth on the grid there right now, 142.7. Mikey and P5 now 142.8. That closes off the 142 so far as we have it. Then we go to the 143 DT Bevs there. Mikey up to P5, 142.8, and then DT Bevs P6. Short markers there in 7th. with a 143. Then Maddie there, AJ Kelly 9, Butler 10, Vintage 11, Vans Racing 12 right now, Neil in 13, Codfish there 14, Softar currently 15th with a 157.9, not a good lap at all. Scooby on a hot lap right now. Beefy invalidates his current lap. He's gonna have to try that once again. Has about 3 minutes to get this done. He might have to do it on the same set of tires he's currently running on. We'll see what he decides to do here as he gets around the final turn here right now. I'm not sure if he's gonna go back into the pits. He is gonna go back into the pits and probably try to get another lap in. If he can, we'll see how that goes for him. And Scooby is out of the session, unfortunately, so that's going to be it for him there. Not going to be able to make a faster lap in here as it is there right now. Okay, so we got just about a minute and 40 seconds left here in Q1. Let's have a look at what our drivers are at here right now. DTB's trying to do another lap here, I think, as he just hit a purple sector 2. So let's see how he's going to finish off this lap. Position changing a bit down grid. Beefy on another out lap there right now, trying to get that lap started. He should have enough time to get around the track, actually, hopefully, for him, and get that. Might be cutting it a bit close there, but we can see where he's on track in sector 1. But I think he should be able to get around the track and be able to get that final lap going, and hopefully he is able to get a good lap before the end of qualifying here, because we're right down to the end of the session. Alright, let's see who else is currently running here still. Vans Racing might be running a lap, but let's have a look at Beefy here. He's running his out lap still. Has 40 seconds to get through and get across the line there. Hopefully he's able to do that at this point in the session as he is there right now. I think he might be able to cut it and get across. This is going to cut it a bit close here though. 28 seconds to go to get across the line and get this hot lap started, or that's going to be it for him. He's going to have to start down there in 17th on the grid. This definitely is going to cut it a bit close for him here right now. 12 seconds to get across the line. Let's see if he's able to make this at this point here right now. And he cannot cut the track, or it will be an invalidated lap getting started on the next lap. 4 seconds to do, and he's not going to be able to get across the line in time. Missed it by about 2 seconds there. And that's going to be it. He's not going to be able to make a qualifying time here. So close on that one there for Beefy, but unfortunate. Not going to be able to get a lap in. I think that's going to be the end of qualifying here for us. Softar is already up to 4th, and I think he's finished there as well. DTB has already finished. I think the two of them just need to retire off of the session so we can get across to qualifying 2 and have a look at our results, see how many drivers are actually going to make it over to Q2 here right now. So DTB is doing the right thing, getting across the line and ending off the session. Where is Softar right now? Hopefully Softar just goes across the line instead of going into the pits, as it does take longer to close off the session if he goes into the pits here right now. And he is going into the pits instead of just going across the line. So we're gonna have to just wait on now until his car is into this into the garage there. And Softar is costing us a bit of time here right now. We're gonna have to wait until his car is now into the garage before we get on to the next session. Guys, for future reference, just go across the line when you're on the final lap there. It does make sense going into the pits. It just extends the session. We gotta wait until the car is into the pit lane and into the garage before the game closes off the qualifying 1 session. So you gotta just go across the line. It makes it easier if you just go across. It just finishes off the session way faster. Alright, so that's the end of Q1. Let's have a look at our results here right now and see what we're going to be looking like for qualifying 2. Okay, results for qualifying 1 here right now. Clarky takes the fastest lap in that session, 142.1. King Curbs goes second fastest, 142.3. Mr. Ray third fastest, 142.6. Then we got Salvador in fourth, Nick fifth, DTBF 6, Mikey 7, Chart Marcus in 8th, Maddie there 9th, Neil 10, J. Kelly 11, Butler 12, Vintage 13, Vans Racing 14, and 15th we have Codfish. That's going to be a top 15 going over to qualifying 2. Out of the qualifying 2 sessions, going to be Scooby there starting in 16th on the grid and Beefy starting 17th on the grid there. So let's head straight over to Q2 right now and see how that session is going to go with our top 15 drivers. Of course, it's only going to be 10 of those going over to qualifying 3. And remember, they are going to have to use the tires that they did the fastest laps on in Q2 to start the race on, provided they do make it over to qualifying 3 and that it is a try race start. So let's see how that's about to happen here right now. We should see a mix of strategies as well. We're going to see what sort of strategies you guys are planning on running in the race in terms of either starting on the softs or starting on the medium. So let's get our stats up on screen. I'm going to keep that on best tires so you guys can see what tires these guys are going to be using in the qualifying 2 session here right now. Okay, so we got cars starting to head out on track here right now. So let's have a look and see what's happening. DTBF's already out in the Williams here and getting a good start on his out lap. Already getting into sector 2 here right now. So he's in a bit of a hurry to get this started and get this session going on. But it looks a bit cloudy in Q2 here right now. Hopefully, for their sake, no rain in this session, because a wet track here at Spa is really not a lot of fun for drivers. I can tell you that right now. I've done a race here in the wet before. Really not a lot of fun. It's only if you're actually really experiencing that particular aspect. But we'll see how it goes for this set of drivers that we currently have here. And Codfish already retiring off of this session. Didn't actually retire. Lost to their Trailer Rouge, I assume. And it's off into the barriers down at the side of the track. So Codfish is definitely going to be out of qualifying 3 as it is there right now. So 14 drivers remain to fight it off for that, and another 4 drivers will have to be losing out on that session as well. We're going to see how that's going to go, and we can see the mix of strategies in play here already. Some of these drivers are going to be trying to do these laps on the medium tires, while most of them will probably try to do it on the soft tires that we do have it there right now. And we do have DTBFs about to get started on his hot lap here right now. We're probably going to have a look at maybe the current results for Drivers' Championship and Constructors' Championship. Maybe during the race, if we do have a safety car, we do anticipate that might actually end up happening around this track here. We'll see how that goes, especially going into turn 1 might be a bit chaotic as well between drivers as we get on through with that. So hopefully everything goes off smoothly for the opening lap of the Belgium Grand Prix here for PGL's F1 Racing League for the Sunday division. Do have the Wednesday division coming up. I think at round 12 it's going to be on this Wednesday. I think it is going to be quite interesting to see how that is going to work out for them as well. And I think it's Australia. I'm not sure as yet. I did see Irish put I think check-in is up already for that, and I think it's Australia. I'm not even sure as yet. I did have a quick glance at it. I didn't really get to check it out as yet, because I'm just trying to focus on the stream here for the time being. Alright, so we're still following on with DTBS right now to have a look at him finish off his first hot lap here. And we have quite a few more drivers that are going to come behind him to finish off their hot laps as well. So we're going to see how their laps are going for them. So far so good on his lap. One, as we're seeing that he is invalidated that current lap, he's gonna have to try that again. Where is King Curb on track here right now? He's getting started on his lap not too long ago here right now, having a look and see where the rest of the grid is, and quite a few invalidated laps as we can see with drivers here getting on through. Alright, so I think we're gonna follow on with Safdar here right now, see where he is running on the grid in the Haas. So who else is running closer to the end? And we got Maddie here running, about to finish off sector 3 on track. So let's see how that lap is currently going for him. Ferrari driver looking to put that car into the top 3 at least for the start. Oh, we got Short Marcus there with the first lap in on this session at 143.039. We got Maddie about to go across the line here right now, and he goes second fastest, 143.4. Does that on the mediums, of course. Where is the rest of the grid right now? And Mr. Rage goes second fastest. Well, now down to third fastest, 143.1. Nick goes fastest, 142.8 on the mediums as well. Quite interesting. Clarky goes second fastest now, 142.8. Pushes down his teammate and the rest of the grid there. So McLaren not looking too bad so far. Let's have a look at the rest of the grid. Where is Mikey on track right now? And I think we got either King Curb or someone else has to go across the line. No, that's Jay Kelly actually getting started on his hot lap there right now. Alright, so I think we're waiting right now for either Butler should be the first to get across the line, or Mikey. I think Butler is going to get across the line first. So let's have a look at the Racing Point driver as he gets around. And let's see what his lap time is about to look like here. And he's going to go back into the pits, unfortunately. So let's go on back to Mikey as he's about to finish off his lap. And let's see, he gets across the line here. And let's see where he goes on the grid. Goes 6 fastest, 143.2 so far. And I think King Curb might be the next driver to give us a good hot lap here. Let's have a look on how he's getting around. His teammate Jay Kelly is not too far off behind of him coming around right now, so we're gonna see a hot lap coming out of him pretty soon as well. Looking pretty good so far in qualifying too. Here we know how it goes, a mix of strategies between mediums and softs, so a range of different lap times as we're gonna see it. Of course, they still have to try to make sure that they do get on over into qualifying 3 in order to be starting on those tires that they really want to be starting on in the front of the grid, instead of just having a free choice of tires from 11th onwards on the grid there. So let's see how drivers do get on over with that. But so far so good in this session. We got Mr. King Curb about to get across the line here right now. Let's see where he's going to go on the grid. And goes 4th fastest now, 142.9. Someone else is thinking might be getting across the line pretty soon. I think that's Clarky there. He's already done his lap. So I think he's going to head into the pits there right now. Let's have a look down at the back here. See what's happening. Vans Racing right now getting around on a lap here. Jay Kelly as well. Let's have a look at Jay Kelly if he's about to finish up this lap or not. And he will finish up the lap there in the Renault. Let's see where he goes on the grid. Not the best lap coming off of Jay Kelly there right now. 159 right now. Let's go on back to Vans Racing here at the moment in the Haas. His teammate Safdar is up to second fastest in this session so far with a 142.870. 200 of a second slower than what Nick did in the Racing Point there. Currently holding on to fastest lap in this session as we have it. We're going to keep on with Vans Racing on the overhead cam right now as he finishes off this lap. Mikey now goes fastest in the session, 142.835, 200 of a second faster than Nick there, and did that on the soft tires. So quite an interesting set of strategies. Most of these drivers are trying to do this on the medium tires as we have it there right now. Vans Racing only goes 9th on the grid, 147.4. Who else is currently running a lap? DTVF is definitely on another lap here and running, as well as Neil down there at the bottom of the grid. So let's see where the grid is going to stack up. We got quite an interesting situation going on with a 142 up there on the grid right now, because we got top 4 drivers all in the 142.8. It's going to be quite interesting with a race start with these guys as they're getting this close here in qualifying 2, and interesting to see most of them did those laps on the medium tires. I want to see what they're going to be doing on the softs over there in qualifying 3 in the next 6.5 minutes or so when we get over to that session. So going to be very, very interesting to see how that is about to work out. Alright guys, we got DTBF's about to get across the line here for qualifying 2, and he's going to go across the line, go 7 fastest in the session, 143.112. Not a bad lap so far. Let's go on over to Neil down in the back here, and he's invalidated that current lap that he's running on, so we're going to have to follow on with Butler getting started on his lap here right now. In the Racing Point, his teammate, as he said, up to P2 in the session so far, so let's see where he goes when he does get across the line. We got a few more drivers in the midfield that might be getting back out for out laps. Short Marcus, Mr. Rage getting back out on track already, trying to get a faster lap in before this session comes off to an end. I'm really hoping we do have another 3 drivers join us on before the session comes to an end in qualifying. We get over to the race session, hopefully have a full grid of 20 drivers on for this race session, which I think is what I saw did get mentioned. We got a bit of drizzle happening here right now in qualifying 2. It's just going to put quite a bit of a pause on the session now in terms of faster lap times coming in, because it's starting to get a bit of drizzle on track, which means track temperature will definitely start to drop just a little bit. That's going to affect car performance and grip levels of these tires on the track, and that's going to result in a much slower lap by a tenth or a few tenths or so, depending on how much temperature has gone away from the track already there. And I think the rain might just continue on into qualifying 3, which is going to make it a bit disturbing for a few drivers and a bit interesting as well for us to watch. So we're going to see how well they get on through that. So welcome to everyone. If you're now joining us onto the session, or if you joined us onto the session from the start, thank you guys for joining us on. Make sure you guys leave a like on the stream for us. It really does really help us out. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. And remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new on here. Currently we're on with PGL F1 Racing League for our Sunday division. It's round 11 of 23 for the Belgium Grand Prix. We're in qualifying 2 right now. 4 minutes 20 seconds left to go in this session here before we're done on. And hello Ethan, thank you for joining on the chat, and he's jumping in just about a minute or so. He's gonna get on this session here as well before we get on to the race. So that's going to be 18 drivers on once Ethan joins on the session. I'm not sure if Walker is going to be joining on as well to make 19, or maybe someone else will make 20 on the grid, because I really do hope we do have a full grid for this race. It's going to be very interesting to see, and I'm wondering if Ethan was avoiding the rain here in qualifying. I'm not sure, so he's going to be starting down at the back of the grid there along with the other 2 drivers, whoever they're going to be. At that point, we'll see by the time we get to the end of qualifying and have a look at our entire full grid on the formation lap. So rain started to come on down just a little bit here right now. Vintage is retired, Neil is retired, Codfish is out, Butler is in the pits. I think that's going to be the end of qualifying here. I don't think anyone else is going to try to run a faster lap, because it's going to be nearly impossible at this point here right now to even try and do that with the way track temperature is. As we can see, cars getting a bit skittish on track, so they're definitely going to be having some trouble to even try and get a faster lap in at this point. So I highly doubt they're going to be trying that. As you can see, Marcus losing it on track here. The track is already starting to get a bit wet, so that definitely is going to be affecting the performance of cars, and I think that's going to be it. I think everyone probably just retire off of the session at this point here right now. No point wasting time with it, but let's see what's going to happen. We got 2 minutes 40 seconds left in qualifying 2. Let's see what they're going to do with that. And we got a Racing Point getting out there. That's Butler getting out. Is he going to really try this on the intermediate tires? I'm not sure. Is it going to rain in the race or not, guys? I'm not sure. If it is going to rain, then it will make sense that the guys are going to get out on the interiors and try it on track to see what it's like on track when it's wet here right now, in case if they're going to have rain in the race session. I'm really not sure, but we're going to see how it goes, guys. So we're currently following on right now with Butler here, and yeah, he's trying to get a lap in on intermediate tires here right now, because he hasn't got a lap time in as yet. And remember, it's only the top 10 drivers going over to qualifying 3. Currently, top 11 drivers only have lap times in, which means it's going to be Jay Kelly and the rest of the bottom grid out of it. So I think Butler is trying to see if he can push on and probably get into the top 10 using the intermediate tires here right now. Okay, so we're about to get started on the hot lap using the intermediate tires. Let's see what his lap time is going to be like as he gets wrong. I assume he's probably going to be into the 150 somewhere. So it's potentially possible that he can do a faster lap than Jay Kelly there and get into 11. I'm not 100% sure if he's going to be able to do a lap faster than a 147.4 than Vans Racing to get up into P10, because if he does do that faster lap than that, he will keep himself into qualifying 3. So it's going to be a bit interesting to see if he's actually able to pull that off using the intermediate tires there right now. I'm not sure how fast this lap is going to go for him, but we're going to keep an eye on the lap and see how the lap time is looking by the time he gets to the end of the sector 3 there, because he does need to pull off at 147.4 and better to get into qualifying 3 at this point here right now. It's potentially possible, but I think on intermediate tires, it's usually the lap times usually go up to about a minute 51 to a minute 52 seconds around this track on intermediate tires, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, so let's have a look and see if I'm even right about that. I'm not sure, but it should be going somewhere around 151, 152, maybe 153 on the intermediate tires. I know when the track is wet, it usually definitely goes into the 150s to get a wrong spot on a wet track. So let's see what's going to happen with Butler here. It's going to be quite a close call for him. If he does a really good lap on this, to possibly get it maybe better than 147, but I'm not so sure he's going to be able to actually make that. Let's see what's going to work out though. So once again, guys, for everyone currently joining on the session, welcome to the stream. Please make sure to leave a like on the stream for us, guys. It literally takes less than a second for you guys to do that. So please make sure you hit like on the stream. And remember, if you're new on the channel, please make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel here. We do appreciate the support. Remember, we have different races happening over the course of a week. Let's have a look on how this one is working out here right now. As you said, I said it's a 150 something getting across on wet tires, and I think I was a bit right about that. That was a 154 for Butler there, getting across the line. So that's going to be it there for qualifying 2, guys. Let's have a look at the final results and at our top 10 heading over into qualifying 3 here right now. So as we have it there right now, Mikey did the fastest lap on the soft tires at 142.8, which he's going to have to start the race on. And most of the grid did it on the mediums. We got Nick there, second fastest in the session, 142.850 in second. Softar third fastest on the mediums, 142.870. Clarky there went fourth fastest. King Curb fifth. Short Marcus in sixth. We got DTBF 7, Mr. Rage there 8, Maddie in 9, and Vans Racing 10th. He's going to be making it over to qualifying 3. Butler is going to have to start in 11. JKD starts in 12. Coffee starts 13. Vintage starts 14. And Neil will have to start the race there in 15. We're going to head straight on over into qualifying 3 here right now, guys. And let's see how that session is going to go. I assume probably the rain is going to continue on over into qualifying 3, which means everyone probably is going to have to be running on the intermediate tires for that entire session. Let's see if that's going to be the case here or not. But so far, looking good for the starting grid that we're probably going to be having, because it's going to be quite competitive in terms of the lap times they're going to get if it was a dry session, but it's going to be a wet session, as you can see here right now. So let's get started with that. Let's see who's going to be first to get out on track. 12 minutes to get it starting to count down there right now. Of course, you know everyone's going to be running on intermediate tires, so really no point checking that at this point here right now. We're not going to put LM3 on, really don't need that at this point. And I'm still not sure if it's going to be a wet or a dry race start. We're going to see what it's going to be by the time we get down to that point there. So we're waiting for some cars to start getting out of the track. I think a car down at the end of the grid there getting out there right now. So let's have a look. I think that is DT Bevs getting out on track as the fourth driver once again to get out on track. So as you can see, a bit of the racing line left over from qualifying 2 there when the few drivers were running on the track. So that's going to help out just a bit to get this session started here. So let's have a look and see how these guys are going to progress on through here and what the lap times are going to look like. We know they're going to be somewhere in the 150s using the intermediate tires here right now, so not going to be as competitive as expected using on with the dry tires. So we'll see how the drivers adapt to this, and we're going to see what the restart is going to be look like, if it's going to be in the wet or in the dry. I'm not sure as yet. Alright guys, so I noticed we just have all of our drivers, all 10 drivers in the qualifying 3 session are out on their out laps right now. We got DTVS getting started on his hot lap here right now. Let's have a look on board with him around the track on these intermediates and see what the conditions are like here right now. It's starting to get a bit more difficult with the rain on track. It's starting to come down just a little bit more. Track is going to get a little more wet, a little more difficult as well for the drivers to maintain grip on the track here as well, even though with the wet tires it is easier rather than the dry tires, but still very difficult with the conditions on track. Track is going to be a bit slippery at some point. They're going to have to be very careful with their braking zones and with the way they get around with this here. And Walker has joined onto the session, so let's welcome him to the session there. Looking forward to see what he's going to be doing on the race, starting at the back along with Ethan and hopefully one more driver we need to just join on the session before qualifying 3 comes to an end, so we can have a full grid of 20 drivers for this race. And it's going to be very exciting to see how that race start is going to go. And can somebody tell me, is it going to be a wet race? Is it going to be a dry race? Is there going to be maybe a little bit of rain in the race? Is it at the start or at the end? I'm not sure where it is here right now. So still following on right now with DTBS. Everyone else coming down behind him to try and get their lap times in. And we do have Ethan joining on the session there. So good to have him on. So Ethan and Beefy on. So as he said there, he thinks it's going to be a dry race, but might possibly get to the end of the race, might get a bit wet. We're going to see how that works. It's a nice transition when they have a dry race and then at the end of the race it starts to get wet. It does freak some drivers out in terms of when they have to decide to go on to the intermediate tires. We've seen it happen so many times. As soon as a spot or two comes down, some drivers do tend to do a pit stop and get in for the intermediate tires, but it's way too early at that point. You do have to be able to tell when they're supposed to get onto that intermediate. That's a 154.1 there from DTBF so far. Who is the next driver to get across the line? Might be Nick there and goes 154.7. We got Savdar going across right now. Goes fastest 153.6. Very impressive time off of him. Clarky goes faster now 153.2. So very interesting time. That's where Sharp Marcus about to go across the line there right now. DT Bevs has he's out of the session. I think he's lost it down there in sector 1. He might have been trying for a second lap. That's Sharp Marcus now. The P5 154.7. Savdar goes second fastest 153.6. Let's see how that's going to keep up with him there. I think you got Mr. Rage getting back into the pits there. And Safdar disqualified from the session for going the wrong way on track. I'm not sure why he was doing that, if that was intentional or not. But he has been disqualified from the qualifying 3 session. Unfortunately, we'll have to start down there in P10. Maddie goes 154.6 across the line. Few drivers not able to finish their laps. They're back into the pits. And they're going to have to get back on track and try that once again. So as we have it here right now, just under 6.5 minutes left in qualifying 3. We got Clarky with a provisional pole start position here, 153.2. DT Bears 154.1. And that's in second. Maddie there in P3 for a potential start there, 154.6. As we have it, Nick looks like he might be starting fourth at 154.7. Short Marcus 154.7, 52. So that's about 200 of a second slower than Nick there. Mikey in P6 right now, 157 there. And Mr. Rage, King Curb, Vans Racing, they are yet to make a lap time in. Savdar unfortunately disqualified from the qualifying 3 session by race control for going the wrong way on track. Why was he going the wrong way on track? Was that even, I'm not even sure what happened with that, but we'll let that be for now. Unfortunate for him though, he's going to have to start there down there in P10 on the grid. We're on right now with Mr. Rage, and we do have King Corp out on track as well, trying to get a lap started here. So we're going to see how these two get along with that. Lap times are not looking too bad right now. Of course, it is going to be a bit of a different situation for qualifying 3 now that we're doing this on the intermediate tires. Might be a bit more of an advantage for drivers who have better experience or are able to drive a little bit better in the wets rather than dry. So as you know, some drivers perform very well in the dry session but not so much in a wet session, so we'll see how that works for them here. Alright, so Mr. H about to get into sector 3 on the track here right now and get started on that hot lap. And we're going to see where that's going to put him on the grid. As you can see, the rain is actually still coming down on track. And Mr. Rage here about to get started on this hot lap here right now. I'm going to keep on board with him just a bit. I think King Kirby is just out in front of him with a hot lap as well. So have a look at him as he's going through here right now. Seems to be running a pretty good lap. And they do have to be very careful around that portion of the track just to avoid losing the rear end and throwing the car into a barrier there. And that's going to be qualifying session over if that does happen there. So as it is here right now, we still have Clarky holding on to a provisional pole start at 152.8. Then we got Short Marcus. His teammate is now up into second for a potential start there with a 153.801. Nick down to P3, 153.855. 500th of a second slower there. Short Marcus out of the session. And he's off there in sector 1, right off of La Rougère, where it's very difficult getting through that portion of the track without avoiding an incident. As we can see, that's what happened there. Vans Racing right now getting started on a hot lap here as well. So as we said, DTV is now down to 4th on the grid, 154.1. Mikey there in P5 with a 154.3. DXT Matty there in P6 with a 154.6 right now. We're waiting on Mr. Rage, King Curb, and Vans Racing to bring us in some lap times here, and let's see where they're going to be at. We got King Curb is going to be the first of the 3 to get across the line here and get a lap time in. So let's see where he's going to be on the grid. And that's second fastest for him there right now. Puts himself between the 2 McLarens out front at 153.2. Not too bad at all. 6/10 faster there than what Short Marcus did. So he's now down to P3 on that one. There, let's have a look at Vans Racing as he's going to get across the line pretty soon. And Short Marcus there, I think he was trying another lap probably. And yep, I saw he did lose it at La Rougère. So yeah, a very interesting portion of the track. Is very easy to just lose the rear of the car if you do take the wrong line around that. Vans Racing goes 158.019. Anyway, Short Marcus is still down there in P3 for a potential start. We'll see how that works for him. Of course, we got Nick out here on another outlap. Clarky on another outlap there as well. Definitely trying to improve their time as much as they can. So we'll see how that goes for them. We got just under a minute left here in qualifying 3 here right now. So let's see how our race start is potentially about to go. Okay, sorry, but I did have to just get something to drink. Alright, so we're good. Again, let's have a look what's happening on track. So qualifying 3 officially over here right now, guys. And Did I touch the mic settings? No, I did not. Yep, so qualifying 3 officially over. Let's see who's currently still running on track. Looks like Vans Racing is trying to finish off a final lap here right now. Is he going to get a better time than a 158.019? He just might. Let's have a look as he goes across the line. 157.888 and still only in P8 with that Maddie here. Where is he going into the pits there right now? And back with Clarky out front. I think he's still trying to get a faster lap in. So as it stands right now, looks like Clarky is starting on pole here, and King Kirby is going to start second alongside him. Short Marcus might have to start third. Nick there 4, DTBS 5th, Mikey 6, DTX Maddie 7, Vans Racing 8, Mr. H 9, Sofdar in 10th. Let's have a look on how that's going to be as he gets across the line. Does he go faster? And does go faster by a few tens there, up to about a 120. So let's see what that's going to be for him. He already had pole position for the start, so I'm not even sure why he tried another lap. Just wanted to make sure no one got that away from him, I guess. So there we have it, guys. So qualifying 3 results for our race start for the top 10. We got Clark starting on pole here. We got King Cup starting in second. Marcus is going to start third. We got Nick starting 4th. DTVF starts 5th. Mikey starts 6th. Maddie starts 7th. Vans Racing will start 8th. Mr. Rage will have to start 9th. And Sofdar, because of the disqualification, will start 10th on the grid there. And that's our result for qualifying 3. Bit of a word session. Let's see how our race start is about to go, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see opening lap of this race. What is it going to look like, and if we're going to have a little bit of rain in that race as well. Going to be very interesting to see drivers adapt to that. So let's get on over to that section, have a look at the formation lap and the entire starting grid. Okay, so let's have a look at our entire grid. Meanwhile, let's get a few stats up on screen. Let's have a look at tires, what they're starting the race on here right now. So Clark is starting P1 in this race. It's going to be a 22 lap race around the track. Of course, it's a longer lap, so less laps on doing that, and it's going to be around the same racing time. King Curb starting there in second. We got Marcus starting in third. We got Nick starting fourth. We got DTBS starting fifth. Mikey's going to start sixth. We got Maddie starting 7, Vans Racing starts 8, Mr. 8 starts 9, Sofdar is going to start 10, Butler will start 11, J. Kelly will start 12, Codfish starts 13, Vintage will have to start 14, Neil there starts 15, Scooby starts 16, Beefy starts 17, Ethan starts 18, and Walker starts 19th on the grid there. Going to be a very interesting start, especially down in the back of the grid with those last 3 drivers that we do have there. So going to be quite interesting to see how that race start is about to go out in front. As well, we're going to have to keep an eye on both McLarens with King Curb in the only Renault. Just between the two of them down in the back, we got 2 Red Bulls and a AlphaTauri. I think is where Walker is driving there right now. Yep, it is. So going to be very interesting to see how this grid lineup works out here right now. And I mix the strategies with our top 10 as we have it there. Some of them on the mediums, some of them on the softs. And Short Marcus is going to be running a shorter stint Clarky and King Corp out front will be running a much longer stint as well. So we're going to see how that works for them in terms of the race that we're just about to start to get back sorted onto the grid here right now, with everyone getting into the grid slots, and we should be able to get started with the Belgium Grand Prix. Guys, this is for PGL F1 Racing League for Sunday division, and it is round 11 of 23 so far for the current season that we're doing. Alright, so we have our cars starting to get sorted back onto the grid here right now. I'm going to leave this on position changes so you guys can have a look at that as we get started with this race. Lights are about to start to go there. We got 5 lights on, and let's see who gets a better start. Looks like Clarky gets a better start on King Corp going down into turn 1. Let's see how it's going to go. Quite a bit of action going on down in the back there as well as all the cars get through turn 1. We got a bit of contact between the Racing Point and the Williams there. And I think that was between DTBFs and Nick as they get on through. So far so good, as Beefy and rest of the grid already got up into P14 and 15. Ethan and Beefy got up quite a few positions there. Walker's still down there in 19. He's trying to get a few positions if he can right now. We're trying to keep an eye on the entire grid as we get on through. Mr. Rage here in P9 right now, chasing after Codfish, trying to get alongside the Ferrari right now, and he's going to take it on the inside of the next turn and might actually get that position up as everyone gets on through. The Racing Point just misses the Ferrari, just barely almost clipped off this entire front wing. Barely braked in time as he got on through with that. But so far so good. Butler still chasing after Codfish here right now. Down in the back, I think Jay Kelly is trying to have a go at something there. Beefy getting very close behind Softer. Let's have a look at what's happening with the back of the grid right now. We got Ethan and Vans Racing fighting it off. We got Ethan is up into 14th on the grid right now. Vans Racing still chasing after him. We got Walker now up into 16th on the grid. He's fighting his way through. No damage on the car, so he's running pretty well so far. About to get past Vans Racing here if he pushes on through for that. Let's have a look right now. We're still on the opening lap of this race. It's a very long lap, as we said. So it takes. Oh, well, we got Walker losing it just a bit. A 3-second penalty for corner cutting, and King Corp has retired from the session. What's happening out front? Let's see if we can have a look. There's this car at the side of the track. Not sure if he was involved in an incident with someone or not, but definitely an unfortunate incident out of the race for him. Walker losing the car just a bit at the back. He's getting back going here right now. That's going to be a virtual safety car for that incident there. This might trigger a few pit stops as well. Let's get on to tires as we have it here right now. See what's going to happen in terms of the cars getting into the pits. I think most cars have gotten by the pit entrance already, so they're not going to be doing a pit stop at this point. Virtual safety car will be over pretty soon. Unfortunate for King Corp there. He might have had an incident with someone out front. I'm trying to remember where he was running on track. So we're still on with the virtual safety car going on through here right now. Clarky still leads this race. And I think King Corp was between Clarky and Marcus for the start of the race. And I'm not sure what happened up front. Now we got VSC is actually over. And we got a battle going on between DT Bevs and Maddie here right now, trying to fight it off for third position in the race. And the Racing Point of Nick trying to come in between of that as well, as these two keep switching points for third position. Let's see what's going to happen with who's going to get that position up. So far as DT Bevs still holding on to P3 in the race as we have it. The Racing Point of Nick is trying to push on through. He's really trying to get that position up if he can. Down in the back, we got Mikey and Mr. Rage fighting it out as well. I think Mikey is starting to get a bit closer up right now to Nick here, trying to get past. So I'm trying to have a look at the gap as it is there right now. I think our deltas might be frozen a bit on screen, so we're going to have to just wait until that sorts itself out. We're just going to have a look and see what's happening here right now. Let's have a look between Butler and Codfish trying to fight it off for P8 in the race, and looks like Butler's a bit of contact between the two cars as they go on through. BV coming just behind that in the Red Bull there as well, so he's catching up very quickly to them. Let's see how it's going to go off through between these two as Codfish is trying to defend the P8 position. Doesn't want to give it up to the Racing Point right now, and he's trying to take it around the outside and going around the final turn to get on back to the pit straight here. And let's see if that's going to work out. The Red Bull of Beefy is trying to get on the inside. And a bit of drifting going on there as well as Beefy gets on through. Hopefully no damage on that car as he gets down the pit straight. And he's going to push on through with the fastest lap in the session so far on the inside of turn 1. And it's going to get ahead of Racing Point of Butler. Into P9 he goes right now. Butler pushing him a bit off track, trying to fight it back already. So he's now going to have to stay in a slipstream of the Racing Point as they get on through. And another virtual safety car puts a pause on that incident. Walker is out of the race down in the back of the grid. And that's happened somewhere in Sector 2. So he's going to be out of this race now. So 17 drivers now remaining here. As we continue on through, that VSC will be over very shortly. Beefy's going to have to keep as close as he can to Butler to keep the fight on for P9 in the race. Let's see if that's going to work for him. As gaps are going to start to go away from some of these drivers just a bit down in the back. Ethan here chasing after Jay Kelly for P12 in the race at the moment. And let's see how he's getting on with that. I know the VSC will be over pretty shortly. Alright, so we got the VSCs over there right now. DRS is now online, and it's going to be a little more fun in terms of racing. Let's see how these guys are going to get on through with the DRS advantage. Beefy getting a 10th behind Butler right now in the racing, but he's trying to push it around the outside. He's going to be able to get it done, and he's doing a lot of drifting with that Red Bull for some reason. I don't know if that's a new feature in the car for him, but yep, he's still keeping full control of the car and getting that going. Clarky getting a penalty out front. The race leader has gotten a penalty, a 3-second time penalty for track limits there, and that's going to be putting a bit of hamper on his race. His teammate running in second in the race, yes, behind of him. We're going to see how the McLaren drivers fight it out in front. 1.4 seconds is a gap between the two of them as they race on through right now. We're pretty close. You have 4 tenths between Butler and Beefy here. Soft there as well, just behind of that. But Butler getting a bit closer right now to Codfish out in front, trying to get around the Ferrari once again, with Beefy trying to come behind of them. So once again, this battle is going to continue on through. Of course, they have Sabdar and Ethan coming just close out behind them, as well as Jay Kelly and Vintage. So quite a train of cars coming through, fighting it off for a position here for P8. Ethan gets ahead of Sabdar into P11, just behind his teammate right now, as Beefy is trying to get around the Racing Point at this point here. And the Ferrari is trying to get ahead by a few tenths at the moment. Let's see how that's going to go. Beefy is in the slipstream of Butler's car right now. Butler's still trying to catch up to Codfish and still trying to get that position up as we go on through. He's going side by side with Codfish, and Beefy's going to try and get in on that battle with a bit of contact with the Ferrari, and he gets by. So the Ferrari loses 2 positions on that one. There's Beefy's alongside the Racing Point of Butler, trying to get on the inside, does get the position up, a bit of contact, and the Racing Point comes back around, trying to fight it on through, and a bit forceful through that, but still gets the position up back. Beefy loses back that position down to 8, and almost got a bit chaotic between them there, between the Racing Point and the Red Bull, but still gets on through. So Butler back up into 7, Beefy down to 8, Codfish now all the way down to 9, Sofdar up back into 10th, and Ethan down back into 11 down in the back there. Ethan trying to get that position back. Let's have a look quickly at him if he's getting that position back up or not. He's trying to stay in the slipstream of Sofdar, trying to force his way, well, not really force his way, but just trying to find a gap to work with. Sofdar is trying to keep him behind and trying to block that off. Codfish now in front of these guys, trying to block them off as well. He's holding up both of these cars up in terms of trying to defend that position in P9. And let's see how much longer he's going to be able to do that. So we're having a very good look off of Ethan's car here at the moment to see if that's working. And that is a car into the, oh, I thought it was into the barriers down the side. It's just off track and loses a position there. He's all the way down to 13 there, the Sofdar. And we're following on with the Red Bull of Ethan right now, getting around Codfish up into 90, goes just behind his teammate right now, who Beefy right now fighting it off with Butler for P8. He's in P8, he's trying to fight it off for P7 in the race, and he's right up to the rear of Butler's car. He's going to take it on the inside into turn 1, and let's see how that's going to go for him. We're going to put on telemetry right now so we can have a look at the advantage for DRS, and a bit of contact between the two of them as they get on through turn 1 and get down there. And Butler is now down to 8. He's lost the position. He's trying to chase after Beefy to get the position back. Let's see if he's able to get it. He has his overtake on. He's going to have the DRS advantage around this straight going through, but I don't think he's going to be able to catch up to Beefy in time. Beefy's a few tenths ahead already and trying to keep that position up. Ethan running just behind him about 2.1 seconds. He's trying to catch up as much as he can right now. So that's going to be a pause on that battle there because Beefy has gained some time. He's about 9 tenths ahead right now and still continue on through. Advanced Racing, for what I'm getting, he's disconnected from the session. I don't think I have him added on my account, so I'm not able to add him back to the session here right now. Walker and King Corp are out. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to invite him. It's an invite-only lobby right now we have going on here, so they're going to have to get a definite invite to get back onto the session. Following on right now with DT Bevs here in P3, about 5 tenths behind the McLaren of Marcus here. He's chasing him down for that position. Let's see if that's going to work out. Down in the back, I got Jay Kelly getting very close up with Codfish in the Ferrari. So Renault looking to get a position up here if he can. His teammate King Kirby is out of the session. He needs to get as much points as possible in this race to just keep the fight alive, at least for the constructors, and try to get him points for himself here as well. He's trying to force his way through right now, trying to find a gap, and takes it on the inside of the Ferrari, pushes on through it. Ferrari goes off track, and that is Codfish out of the race. Unfortunately, we're not able to see entirely what's happened there. And there's his car down at the side of the track. There might have been some minor contact between the two that caused that, or maybe the Ferrari just lost the rear, trying to fight it off and trying to hold that position. I'm not sure if there was any definite contact between the two cars. That's going to be determined a bit later on. We're on to a safety car here right now. First safety car in this race as we're having it. We're going to follow on with Clarky out front. He's going to have to catch her back to the safety car out front and run behind that. So it's going to be another 3 laps running behind the safety car here right now. And this might actually trigger a few pit stops. Oh, definitely. We got a train of pit stops down in the back of the grid right now. That pit lane is very, very busy as most of the cars are starting to get back out to the pit lane. And most of the cars down in the back of the grid, that's why they did their pit stops. So Clark is still out front. Third Marcus still running there second. Both McLarens running P1, P2 in this race. And I think they might try to get it for a P1, P2 finish on the podium if they can. DT Bevs in the Williams running there in P3. Maddie running P4, Nick running P5, Mikey running in P6, and Butler running P7. Those are our top 7 drivers who have not pitted in the race so far. Everyone that's on the bottom of the grid have taken pit stops, including Vans Racing, Scar, who is getting into the pits as well, and he's probably still disconnected from the session as it is there right now. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get back on in this race or not. Unfortunately, if he's not able to. But our race leader still has that 3-second penalty to deal with. Butler has a penalty as well. So does Ethan there, and Scooby as well. So we're going to see how they finish off their race in terms of those penalties affecting race positions as well as we get on through that. And we finally have our top cars in the grid running are into the pits here right now, so I'm just noticing there. So race leaders are into the pits as well. So we got Clarky getting back out to the pits here right now, and it was a double stop for McLaren there. So let's see, that's going to mean that Marcus is going to lose some positions because they double stacked the McLarens in the pits, and they were just running just behind of each other just by a second or so. So really quite maybe not the best decision for the team, I'm not sure, because it's now put Marcus down to 6 on the grid as he's getting back out to the pits, quite way down, and they're running a bit of a different strategy right now. So Clarky has gone onto the hard tires, DTV has onto the hards, Maddie onto the hards, Nick onto the hards, Mikey onto the mediums, Marcus onto mediums, Beefy onto mediums, Butler onto mediums as well. Same sort of mix-up happening down in the bottom of the grid with the hards and mediums as well to go to the end here right now. So we're going to see what sort of strategy these guys on the mediums are running. Are they going to be doing another sub going on to our next set of softs to go to the end of the race? I'm not 100% sure what the strategy is going to be here right now, but we're going to see how that finishes off with the grid as we have it. So still under the safety car as we're going into lap 7 here right now and going. Clark is still leading this race. DTBF's out and back on into second place now, because of Marcus having to pit just behind his teammate Maddie there in P3. We got Nick at P4, Mikey P5, Marcus now 6th after his pit stop, Beefy up to 7th in this race, Butler running in 8th, Mr. Age running 9th, Safdar in 10th, Ethan there 11, Vintage 12, Neil 13, J. Kelly 14, Scooby there 15, Vans Racing down to 16, Cartfish, Walker, and King Curb out of the race, unfortunately for the 3 of them. We still got 16 drivers yet to finish the Belgium Grand Prix here, so still going to be an interesting race as we get on through that. 5-second penalty for severe collision between Beefy and Butler there. What's happening with the 2 of them? I wonder if Beefy took any damage off of that. Let's have a look here right now. He might have taken some damage because he's falling down the order here right now, and he's off track and he's going to get back going now. So we're trying to have a look at his car if he took any damage off of that incident. definitely not going to be too happy about this. And he's lost the entire front wing. Now taking a little bit of damage. That's a lot of damage. He's going to have to do another pit stop here right now. So definitely will have to do another pit stop. In the meanwhile, let me see if I can get our stats up on screen so we can have a look at our championship results so far. Okay, so let's have a look at the constructors for PGL F1 Racing League Sunday division as it is right now. So it looks like we have Red Bull leading the Constructors Championship with 201 points. We got Alfa Romeo running second next to them with 139 points. Quite a points difference there. Mercedes running third on that with 116 points. Ferrari running fourth with 79 points. We got Renault there in fifth with 57 points. Williams down in sixth with 51 points. AlphaTauri there 7th with 19 points. Racing Point is currently 8th with 8 points. We got McLaren right now down in 9th with 4 points, and they were looking pretty good today with running P1, P2. Now Marcus is down to 5th. We'll see how that works out. Haas down in 10th and last with only, well, actually no points. So McLaren only 4 points. They're going to be looking to get ahead of Racing Point here today. We're going to see how that works. But Butler and Nick running 6th and 7th in the grid. We're going to see how that works out for them. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, let's have a look at that. So Drivers' standings, we have Walker leading with 137 points, but he's out of this race. He's going to be losing out on that. Mikey there running second, 104 points. Ethan running third, 70 points. Then we got Mr. Rage running fourth, 69 points. We got Maddie there, fifth, running with 64 points. Beefy with 64 points as well there in sixth, and he's still running, so let's see how that's going to perform here. DT Bears 51 points, he's in 7th. We got Dean in 8th with 39 points. J. Kelly 9th with 18 points. Vintage 10th with 15 points. Cody in 11th with 15 points here as well, and we should have the safety car going on this lap. We'll have a look at that. Sofdar 12th with 10 points. Butler 13 with 6 points. We got Seb 14 with 4 points. Haywood 15th with 4 points. I'm trying to have a look if the safety car is going to go in. Harvey 16th with 2 points. Scooby 17th with 2 points. And I think that's it for the points so far. Oh, there we have it. So race control confirming safety car is going to be going in at the end of this lap. I'm going to get back racing into lap 9 and then continue on with the rest of the session. And hopefully no more major incidents in the race. We're going to hopefully have everyone finish off the race pretty well. We might be having some rain at the end of the race. I'm not 100% sure of that. We're going to have a look and see how that works itself out. Okay, so safety car is away. We're back to get back racing here right now. Let's have a look how it's going to go between Clarky and DTVFs out in front. I'm going to go down to Mikey as well to see how that's going to go. So restart lap should be fine. Everyone should be getting a true way pretty well. I'm trying to have a look if we have any extra close gaps going on. I think Jay Kelly and Neil here pretty close up between the two of them as they're fighting it on through for P12. And Jay Kelly gets up into picture, puts Neil down to 13th right now, and he's going to have to keep chasing him down for that position if he wants to get it back. At this point in the race here right now, we're going to go on up to Sharp Marcus out in front, and let's have a look at him. He's chasing after Mikey for 4th place in the race, and so far so good because 3 tenths behind. Ethan up into 9th there right now. I think he might have lost the position, I'm not sure, but he's running 9th in the race at the moment, just behind Mr. Ray. Sofdar running 3 tenths behind him. Actually, now about 2 tenths. Have a look down here what's happening. So Red Bull might be in a bit of trouble here if he's about to lose that position. I'm not sure. I'm trying to keep an eye on Mikey out front, chasing after 3 tenths behind Maddie there for P3 in the race, and he's looking pretty good at getting that position up. Let's have a look at that, back at that. Short Marcus and Mikey still fighting it off through here right now. Marcus trying to fight his way back up into 2nd place in this race if he can here at the moment. We're going to see how well that's going to work for him. Clarky out front getting already a 2nd lead away from DTBFs, as is from DTBFs from Maddie there. So gaps are starting to build back just a bit as we're following on right now with Mikey here running in P4, 3/10 away from Maddie, who's in. Oh, and we got Nick out of the section. What's happened to his car? I think he just saw it down in the back here. And there's his car on the side of the track. He's into the barriers there, and that's going to be a virtual safety car for that incident. Thank God it's not another safety car. I don't think we can deal with that one of those more just after right away, because it's a very long lap around here. Anyway, that VSC should be over pretty shortly. We're going to wait for that restart to go once again, and that's going to put a pause on any battles currently on track, as no overtaking during a safety or a safety car or a safety car. They have to reduce their speed by at least 40% during a VSC, or they do get a penalty for that. And we got Neil down in the back there into the pits. Beefy running in 15th right now. And we're just waiting for this restart to get back going here right now, because cars are trying to keep as close as they can to each other. I think we're going to be following on with Mikey once that restart gets going, but DTVF's out front, getting a pretty close gap between him and Clarky under the safety car. We're back racing here right now with 8/10 between race leader Clarky and DTVF's down there in second. Let's see what that battle is going to go on through. Is Clarky's going to be able to get a gap over a second? He already got it already. He's actually working on getting that done. As we're trying to follow on with the rest of the grid. Softar down in the back. What's happening to Mikey and Maddie right now, going side by side, trying to fight it out through the McLaren of Marcus coming in between of that as well. He's just gotten ahead of the Ferrari of Maddie there, up into P4, at 2/10 just behind the Mercedes of Mikey, and he's chasing him down for that position. Let's see what that battle is going to go on through. We do have the Ferrari of Maddie and Butler in the racing point coming just behind all of this as well as Mr. Rage there in P7 in his Alfa Romeo. So quite a bit of a train of cars fighting it on through for one position here right now. I'm trying to keep our eyes on all of them as we get on through with that. Butler getting a pretty close gap on Maddie as well as Mr. Rage on him. So let's see if that's going to work. Softar and Scooby having a bit of a switch down in the back there. Mr. Rage running just about 2/10 right now behind Butler there, so he's really trying to get that position up if he can. Ethan there has another 2.3 seconds to catch up if he wants that to get in on that fight as well. DRS is now back online. That's going to be a bit of an advantage for a few cars as we're going to go down that pit straight very soon. Getting around now to turn 1, and we have a DRS zone coming up very soon, so they're going to have a bit of an advantage working through that. Let's see if that's going to work for them. We got cars using their overtakes already. And everyone seems to get through pretty well so far. Of course, we're going on board right now with Mr. Rage. He has DRS online and has his overtake on. He's going to pull alongside Butler here. Let's see if he's going to put a bit of a late braking getting into this turn. Might be able to get that position up. He goes up into P6. That's Butler down to P7 right now. He's trying to fight it back, but he's not going to be able to get that position back as yet. Beefy gets the fastest lap down in the back there in P15 so far in this race. So Mr. Rage up into P6, Butler down to 7th, Ethan 1.5 seconds behind these guys and coming on through. Out in front, DT Bev 7/10 behind Clarky so far, and he's trying to really fight it through for that position there. Another two seconds behind is where Mikey is, still on the podium position, but still Clarky does have that penalty to deal with. His teammate Marcus is now up to P4. 7/10 behind that is Maddie here, and Mr. Rage another 4/10 behind. Butler another 7/10 behind. So really and truly there's quite a close gap between our few cars that we do have going on here in the race right now. We're at the halfway point of this race. We're in lap 11 of 22. And it's been quite interesting so far from the start of this race getting on to this point. Let's go on board right now with Mr. Rage here, see how it's going. And he's trying to pull it on the inside of the Ferrari of Maddie here. And he's going to try to go side by side with him down the pit straight using DRS advantage and a little bit of overtake. And is he going to take it alongside him in turn 1? He's going to keep it behind for now. But looks like he's going to get a pretty good running in the DRS zone coming up very, very soon. And looks like he's trying to pull ahead already. He's going to keep it behind, or he's going to push it on through. He's going to push it on through on the inside. And they both are going to, no, they're not going to go side by side. I honestly thought they were going to go side by side through that down there. And that was going to be quite a bit risky, but we have seen cars go side by side through the before. And does have the DRS advantage, gets on the outside of the Ferrari, and it's going to get up into P5. Mr. Rage up another position here. Maddie down to 6 right now on the grid as we have it. Out in front, Clark is gaining a bit of time. He's about 1.5 seconds ahead of BT Bevs running there in the lead, still with his penalty, so does need to get 3 seconds ahead of that car in order to keep the racing if he does get across the line P1. Down in the back, we have Salvador and Scooby, I think, switching positions there right now. Trying to keep an eye on Eaton and Butler here at the moment since the battle is starting to form between the two of them. Gap is down to about 5/10 between them as we have it here right now. I can see DT Babes has gained about 5/10 so far on Clarky out front. So he's really trying. Oh, and we got Eaton having some trouble. Almost got into the barriers down on the side. Almost losing a part of that front wing. Losing the rear of the car. He's getting back on track right now. Jay Kelly catching up to him. About to get by. And he's about to lose that position. Let's see what's going to happen. So Jay Kelly settles down behind him in P9. And it's going to chase after him. Gap is about 4/10 right now between the two. They're going to get on board with Jay Kelly right now, see how that's going to go. Eaton might be having some trouble with that car. I'm not sure what's happening with Red Bull there. They're not having the best of days because Eaton's running in 8th. Beefy running in 14th on the grid right now. Currently 4 drivers out of this session. We're down to 15 drivers in the race. We're following on right now to see how this is working out. Out in front right now, we got Marcus there getting a pretty good go with Mikey, keeping within the DRS range. So let's see if that's going to be any sort of advantage to him as he goes through that DRS zone there right now. So it seems to be going pretty well for him so far. He's trying to gain some time, of course. Marcus there. Mikey there, I'm sorry, is about 1.6 seconds behind DTVS. He's trying to catch up to him. And Gap has gotten quite a bit more down here as he's about 7/10 behind right now. Mr. Ray trying to come between them as well. He's about 1.3 seconds behind. He's gaining time as he continues on in this race so as well. And gaps are starting to go just over a second between most of our drivers here right now. So most of our battles are coming to a bit of a close as we're watching what's going on. So gap still about just over a second and over, about a 10th and over. So still that might actually come back down pretty soon. We're going to keep an eye and see how that's going to work out. We know a few more drivers might be taking a second pit stop in this race. Those drivers who are running on the medium tires here, they might be doing another pit stop. I'm not sure as yet. We're going to see how the strategy works for them. But those drivers running on the hards currently there, they're definitely going to be going to the end of the race on those tires. So we're going to see if these guys on the mediums are running a bit of an aggressive strategy, trying to go to the end of the race on those tires as they have it there. And we currently have Eaton into the pits. Let's have a look at what's happening with him here right now. And that is Clarky getting another penalty there. Let's have a look what's happening with penalties right now. I think that's Clarky getting two penalties in total now. So he has a 6-second penalty out in front. This is going to cost him the race win at this point here right now. We also got Maddie there with a 3-second penalty. Butler with a 6 seconds. Scooby with 12 seconds. Neil with 9 seconds. Eaton with 3 seconds. We're going to see how penalties work themselves out by the time we get to the end of the race. We got Mr. Rage has a 2/10 gap between him and Sharp Marcus there in P4 right now, so he's definitely looking to get by. We're going to get on board right now with Mr. Rage and see how that gap is working for him. Looks like he's definitely going to be chasing him down through the DRS zone and try to get that position up if he can here right now. He's going to engage that and probably use overtake. He's right up to the rear of that car, and he's pushing alongside the McLaren already, trying to get the position up, and let's see, he might actually hold that true. Does get the position up. Let's see if Marcus is able to fight this back at the moment. And Ethan gets another 3-second penalty down in the back. Neil is into the pits. We got Jay Kelly and Butler switching positions here as well. Let's have a look what's happening with the two of them. So Jay Kelly is up to 7th right now. Butler down to 8th. And he's trying to get the position back up right now. He's going to put to the inside of the Renault there. And let's see if he's able to get that up. Looks like he might have actually got the position back. Up into 7th he goes once again. That's Jay Kelly down to 8th position right now. So far, not too bad in this race. Stopped out with another 3-second penalty there. So quite a few penalties in this race so far. Still our 15 drivers are still running. We're on lap 15 of 22. We got about 7.5 laps left of racing to go. Probably about 13 minutes or so more. 12, 13 minutes probably of racing. Okay, so that's what's happening with Vintage and Jay Kelly. Oh, Jay Kelly is into the pits here right now. So 8 laps done on those mediums and he's going into the pits. Let's see what he's going to go on to. He's probably going to go on to the softs to go to the end of the race here right now, which is what the strategy is. So he's going on to the softs, going to the with Neil already on the softs as well to get to the end of the race. So we'll see how that strategy works out for them. Clarky is running a pretty good strategy out front with a pretty good gap, 3.5 seconds. Of course, he now has a 6-second penalty, so he needs to get 6 seconds ahead of DT Bevs in order to keep the race lead. And of course, DT Bevs is running on the hard tires as he is right now. So on the same strategy, that's going to be a bit difficult for him to keep the race win here right now. So he might be able to go across the line P1, but I don't think he's going to be able to keep it. 3.6 seconds, 3.7 seconds what the gap is right now between the two of them out front, and he needs to keep improving that gap and increasing it up to over 6 seconds in order to keep the race win. And of course he does have to make sure that and we got a safety car right now. Ethan is out of the race. He does need to make sure that he is able to keep that gap all the way to the end. He has a 5.1 second gap right now. Let's see if that's going to trigger any more pit stops here right now, because Ethan is out of this race. I'm not sure where he went off. I think he went off right here. There's his car down at the side of the track. Unfortunate for him right now. So that's a Red Bull driver out. Only one Red Bull left in the session right now. Alright, so let's get on back out in front. Let's have a look and see. Our race leader Clarky is into the pits here right now. He's going to get onto some faster tires, I assume, and try to get way ahead after this safety car is over. So let's have a look and see what's going to happen. And they're double stacking McLaren once again. Of course, they have a bit of a gap between them on this occasion. So let's see, they should be able to work on this car pretty quickly as Marcus is now into the pits. Alright, so let's see what's going to happen in this instance here. So Clarky is now on the softs. DT Bevs is now on the softs. So is Mikey, Mr. Ray, Maddie, and Marcus there. All went into the pits going onto the soft tires to get to the end of the race here right now. So it's going to be quite an interesting finish to the Belgium Grand Prix, because we do have Clarky with a 6-second penalty. He does have quite the amount of pace needed to build a gap. Of course, we're probably going to be having about 3 laps, maybe 4 laps of racing left to go to the end of the race. So that's the amount of time that Clarky is going to have in order to build a 6-second gap between him and DT Bevs, and they're going to be on the very same strategy, but running on the same fresh soft tires. He needs to pull away very quickly. Within 2 laps he needs to do this and gets a 6 seconds ahead in order to get across the line P1 and keep that race win for the Belgian Grand Prix, which he's quite looking forward to get some points in for McLaren here. His teammate running in 6th right now, Marcus there, and he's hoping to get some points in as well, as he is running 6th with no penalties on, and Maddie in front of him does have a penalty. So that might lead to him gaining a position depending on how close he's able to keep the Maddie there. We're going to bring on penalties on the grid on for you guys to have a look on pretty soon as well after the safety car is over. We can have a look at that right now to see currently what it's like. so you guys can have a look. So 6 seconds of penalties Clarky has. He needs to keep that gap ahead of DTS by 6 seconds when this safety car goes in. Mikey should be able to finish right there. If he keeps a very close gap, he might be able to get a position up here as well. We'll see how that works. And Mr. Rage there, P4 right now. Of course, Maddie there, P5, looking to lose that position to Marcus there, who is currently in 6th. If things don't go his way. Butler currently with a 6-second penalty. Vintage 3 seconds behind of him. Softer another 3 seconds behind of him. Jay Kelly looking to gain a few positions because he doesn't have any penalties right now. Scooby there with 12 seconds of penalties. That's going to put Beefy up position or so. Neil there, that's quite a lot of penalties though. And Vans Racing in 14th right now with no penalties, so he might be looking to gain some time as well. Let's have a look on position changes from the start of the race up to this point here right now. And looks like it's Vintage right now with the most positions gained. Of course, he does have a penalty. We'll see how that works. Mr. Rage there, no penalties. And he is up 5 positions in the race so far. So we're going to see how that works out for him. In terms of finishing off this race, most of these cars have done 2 pit stops in the race so far. It was supposed to be a 1-stop for most of our drivers who went on to the hards. But because of the safety car, they've decided to make a change of strategy and work it this way. So let's see how the race is going to be finishing off when we do get back racing again. Hopefully at the end of this lap we can go back racing with the safety car going in. We'll have a look at that, and we're going to have about 3 to 4 laps of racing, I guess, left. We're trying to have about 4 laps of racing if the safety car goes in on this lap here right now, which will give Clarky out in front enough time to get a 6-second gap between him and DT Bevs. It might be a bit difficult though with both of them being on the fresh tires. We'll see how that works out. Okay, so we're about to get into sector 3 on lap 18. Let's have a look, and there we have it. So safety car is going to be in at the end of this lap. We're going to have about 4 laps more of racing to go after the safety car goes in, so that should give Clarky enough time to try and get a 6-second lead against DTBFs, and hopefully he's able to keep the lead and get a 6-second gap, and hopefully get the race win. Otherwise DTBFs will be getting finishing across the line P2, but will get the race win for the Belgian Grand Prix. We're going to see how close that's going to be between the two of them, because I'm quite sure DTBFs is going to try to keep as close as he can right now. I don't think he wants to allow Clarky to get a 6-second gap away from him. There, sees both of them trying to get our tires warmed up to get back racing here right now. Safety car is already back into the pits, and I think they're already back racing already. They do have to wait until they get across the line here in terms of any overtakes happening. So let's see how that's going to work out here right now. On the run going to pit straight, Clarky is getting a bit ahead already, trying to gain some time, a few tenths if he can. So let's see how that's going to go between them. He's already trying to get that gap over a second at this point here. Let's go down to Marcus here. His teammate chasing after Maddie in the Ferrari there. Let's see how that gap is going to work for him. Go down to Savdar here at 9, chasing after Vintage there. He's trying to get ahead of the AlphaTauri right now. Let's see if he's able to do that. He's trying to pull alongside him, and he's going to go side by side and get on through fastest sector as well for Savdar, and gets ahead of Vintage up into P8. He goes there right now, out in front, 1.1 second already this gap between Clarky and DT Bevs for the lead of the race. Let's have a look at what's happening with Mikey there in P3. He's still chasing after DTBS right now. He's trying to get up into second place in this race at the moment, if he can. Remember, all of them running on very fresh tires at this point in the race here right now, so it's going to be quite competitive getting to the end at this point right now. So Mikey is trying to keep his gap under a second if he can, trying to keep the DRS advantage alive for him. Got Marcus here getting pretty close off, 5 tenths behind, 4 tenths behind right now, behind Maddie. Got a yellow flag somewhere in sector 3. Neil is having some issues down in the back of the track. Let's see if we can have a look quickly what's happened to his car. And his car is out of the race. That's 13 drivers remaining in. And it's only a yellow flag so far. So everyone's going to continue on racing. That's Clark with the fastest lap. 1.5 seconds is a gap between him and DTBS. He's fighting very hard to increase his gap right now. About 3 laps left in this race to go before we go to reach the finish line to the final lap. And he has a gap of 1.7 seconds. I don't think he's increasing the time fast enough to try and get ahead. He needs to hope that DTBS makes some sort of mistake here right now. DTBS pushing as hard as he can, trying to keep up as much as he can right now to Clarky. It is going to be a bit hard with him being out of the DRS range at the moment, but he's still pushing on through. And we're following on with Mikey and Mr. H as well and see what's happening with the gap between them. It's about 5 tenths between both of them right now. Gap is now down to 4 tenths between Mr. Rage and Mikey here. So let's see if this is really going to go anywhere. Beefy and Vintage have about a 5 tenths gap between them. So that's probably going to be going somewhere very soon as well. He's trying to get way into the top 10 if he can. Gap is down to 4 tenths here. So let's have a look and see if this is going to go anywhere. 2.4 seconds is the gap between Clarky and DTBFs out front. We're still on lap 20 and going here. The longer laps might be a bit of an advantage for him. So let's see if he's able to get that gap going. But of course, DTBF's there. He's going to try and keep that under 3 seconds if he can. Of course, the gap, the penalty amount is 6 seconds right now with Clarky there. So a bit of difficult for him to get it over that. 3 seconds would have been much easier for him to work with. Of course, he did get that second penalty. Otherwise, he was already 2.5 seconds away. DRS is now back online. He would have been able to probably get away with a 3 second penalty and still win the race, but it doesn't look like he might be able to with a 6 second penalty that he does currently have. Let's go down to the back here with Beefy chasing after Vintage right now as they get around turn 1. Butler just in front of these guys as well, about 3 tenths behind in front of them. So let's see between the 3 of them what's going to happen as they get on through. Mr. Rage has a pretty close gap going behind Mikey there as well, so he's really looking to get ahead and get that overtake down. So we're trying to keep an eye on that as we get on through this race. Let's have a look at Mr. Rage trying to go side by side with the Mercedes of Mikey and not able to get side by side. He has to hold it on in that position there for now. We're going back down here with Sabdar. And I see what's happening. Mr. Rage still trying to fight for that position. We're going to go back up again. Gotta keep switching all around the track right now. Beefy getting a close gap on Butler there as well. Trying to see how that's going. 2.6 seconds is the gap between Clarky and DT Bevs. And once again, guys, to everyone joining on the stream, welcome guys to the stream. Please make sure you leave a like on the stream for us. Do appreciate when you guys do that. And remember, if you're new on the channel, make sure you guys subscribe here for more of these esports races that we do have happening during the course of the week. And please remember, guys, that the Discord link is in the description of the video to join onto our Discord. So do that as well. Try to keep an eye on Butler down in the back there. He's on mediums, but has about a 5-10 gap between him and Vintage for that position there. We're on lap 21 right now and running of 22. So just about approximately 1.5 laps left to go at this point here. And we have a 3 second gap, 3.1 second gap between Clarky and DT Bevs. We get a yellow flag down there in sectors 2 and 3. And that's with Jay Kelly. They're getting off track a bit. I think he's getting back going again. So as we have a 3.3 second is the gap between Clarky and DT Bevs. I think he needs quite a few more laps to do this. And we're into the final lap of the race here right now with Clarky and DT Bevs. 3.2 second that gap is. And then Mikey 6 tenths behind. Another 4 tenths is Mr. Rage there running. And then we got Maddie 6 tenths behind. Marcus 2 seconds behind, and he does have soft door about 3/10 behind of him. He's going to have DRS advantage and use maybe a bit of overtake. He's going to try and get past the McLaren here for P6 in the race and goes around the outside. And let's see if he's able to get that position up as it is there right now. It looks like he does get the position up. That's the McLaren of Marcus down to 7th on the grid right now. His teammate still running out front. 4 seconds right now on the final lap we're going. Let's have a look on how this is going out front as we're currently in sector 2. We're going to keep an eye on the close gaps that we do have on track. Mr. Ray trying to get ahead of the Mercedes of Mikey still as he has it there right now. We're going to follow Andre Clarkey though on his final run along the track. Has a 4.5 second gap. He's pulling away pretty quickly at this point, but I think he still needs another lap or two to get that 6 second range that he needs to keep the race win at this point. But still quite an impressive run from Clarkey here, trying to get that gap over 6 seconds. And DTBFs looks like he is doing pretty well, keeping the gap under the 6 second as much as he can. So he might be getting the race win here for the Belgium Grand Prix as we are finishing off this final sector of lap 22 right now with Clarkey here in the McLaren. And he should be getting, going across the line, P1, but will be getting 2nd place on the podium. And he goes across the line here right now to take P1 in this race, but will not be able to keep it as DTBF comes across the line right now. P2, but will take away P1 from Clarkey. Mikey takes it away as well as Mr. Rage. Clarkey is out of the podium positions right now. So DTBF takes the race win. Mikey takes 2nd. Mr. Rage takes 3rd. Clarkey takes his 4th. And then Marcus there has to go take 5th. And then we got Maddie here taking 6. Software takes 7. Vintage 8. Butler 9. Beefy takes 10. Scooby takes 11. Vans Racing will take 12. And J. Kelly will have to take 13th on the grid there. So we're going to have to wait for the two of them just to get around. But what an incredible finish. Clarkey did fight his way quite a way back up, but not enough of a gap that he had in order to keep himself onto the podium. Still, both McLaren's 4th and 5th on the finishing results. Not too bad at all. But the Williams of DTBS taking the win for the Belgium Grand Prix. Mikey there in the Mercedes taking 2nd on the podium. Okay, so let's have a look right now. And there we have Beefy taking driver of the day on that one, starting in the back of the grid and still finishing this race, even though we have a limited amount of drivers finishing the race here. On both streams today we had a limited amount of drivers finishing races. So let's have a look right now at our final results at the moment. We're still provisional results until incidents get sorted out in the league. So let's have a look at our results that we have so far here. So there we go. DTBF takes the win for the Belgium Grand Prix. Mikey takes 2nd on the podium. Mr. Rage takes 3rd on the podium. Unfortunately, Clarkey has to take P4 out of the podium position, but does get the fastest lap. His teammate Marcus takes 5th in the race. Maddie takes 6th. Salvador takes 7th. Vintage 8th. Butler 9th. Beefy takes 10th on the grid and driver of the day. Scooby takes 11th. Vans Racing 12th. J. Kelly 13th. Neil there 14th. Ethan 15th. Nick 16th. Codfish 17th. Walker 18th. And King Curb there 19th on the grid. Quite a few drivers not able to finish the race, unfortunately. Anyway, guys, that is it there for PGL F1 Racing League for the Sunday division, the Belgium Grand Prix, which was round 11 of 23. Join us next week again with them for round 12. And we do have another race coming on tomorrow. Remember, guys, we do have races almost every day of the week, but most days of the week anyway. Right now, do check our schedule, which is in the days in our channel Discord, which the link is in the video description. Have a look at that. So thank you guys for joining on to the race session with us. Please remember, guys, to leave a like on the stream. Really appreciate you guys doing that. And remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new on here or if you haven't done so before. Thank you guys once again for joining on. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next stream that we do have with NLRL tomorrow, next Silver Racing League. So looking forward to that one as well. So thank you guys once again.